hour 127, Wednesday, November 18th. We are now 48 days from the most important Senate elections of our life. You want to end Mitch McConnell's reign as Senate Majority Leader? 48 days, we can do that by electing John Ossoff and Reverend Warnock in Georgia. Those two races. So if you've got time or you've got some extra cash, help them out. 63 days until Donald Trump is gone. That's it. Donald Trump is gone in 63 days. It's got to be clear. The attempted coup by Donald Trump and Lindsey Graham and others is not over. It is still in full action. And I think sometimes when people say the word coup, they think of tanks in the street. No, if you look at the definition of coup, generally it does involve violence. But what it really is a grabbing of power illegally. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. This election is very clear. The election's over. Donald Trump lost. It's not even close, electoral college-wise or popular vote-wise. And just so it's clear, his allegations of fraud have been thrown out by court after court. Even Rudy Giuliani in federal court yesterday told the judge this case does not involve fraud. So there's no more allegations of fraud. That's a cover story that is used outside of the courtroom by Donald Trump and his minions to delegitimize his election, but to give cover for the coup. And what I mean by that coup is that they want their base to not believe Donald Trump lost. They want the base of the GOP to believe that Joe Biden is the loser, and it was only because of fraud and that the system was rigged that Donald Trump lost. Why? So that when Republicans do the unthinkable and when GOP state legislators or Republican governors don't certify the votes in states that Joe Biden has won, or they actually vote for a new slate of electors that are not pro-Trump, but that are pro-Trump and send that to the Electoral College instead, his base is on board with it. There was a new poll today that was kind of stunning. It said that 52% of Republicans, 52%, think that Donald Trump won this election. He is the rightful winner of this election. About 25% believe Joe Biden won the election. Now, more than that of Republicans understand that Joe Biden was called the winner, but they are not buying it. Donald Trump has continued to gin this up with the Republican base. And what's going to happen is these Republicans are going to put pressure on GOP elected officials to do the wrong thing, to overturn this election. And there's ways they can do, and I'll go through in a second here, but forget what the court system's about. Donald Trump is losing case after case after case. There are two paths. There's the legal path and the political path. Legally, Donald Trump is losing. Politically, he is beginning to win. Majority of Republicans believe that Joe Biden lost the election and Donald Trump is the rightful winner. That was the exact way it was answered in that poll, rightful winner. So what can they do to overturn this election? It's very clear what the end game is. And I really will, at the outset, I should say this. I wish the media would use the term coup. Donald Trump is engaged in a coup. They don't want to because they're too timid. Just like they've been timid for 4 years. It took them 2 years in the media to call Donald Trump a liar when we were screaming at the TV that he's a liar. Our media it's not intentional. They are ill-equipped for a fascist. We've not had this in the United States of America. What we're seeing is a grab for power that fascists do in other countries. They're ill-equipped. And even our Democratic leaders are ill-equipped. They think by ignoring Donald Trump, they'll just pass by and it won't matter. No, it's actually mattering already. Because we saw it in the poll today with 52% of Republicans thinking Donald Trump's the rightful winner. What's going to happen is, we saw it in Michigan last night, they pressured the canvassing board in Wayne County not to certify the votes. And what happened is, for about an hour there, the Republican members of the board did what the Trump campaign and Republican state leaders were pressuring to do. They voted, no, we can't certify it. So it was a deadlock. It was going to go up to the state board. And maybe there they would have certified it, but we weren't sure what would happen. Donald Trump cheered them. The Republican State Party in Michigan instantly put out a press release. It was clearly coordinated. But something happened in an hour. And somehow these Michigan Republicans on this canvass board understood what they were doing. They understood they were part of a coup. They understood they were trying to overturn the will of the people of Michigan. So they reversed their view. But it's not over. This coup is not over. The Trump campaign filed a lawsuit just hours ago in Michigan to throw out the certification and to stop the state certification. Here is their end game. Let me lay it out for you because there's two ways. The one is the most egregious, but the other is actually the more likely. The egregious one is Republican state legislators in states like Michigan and Wisconsin, which Joe Biden won but are controlled by Republicans, Arizona and Georgia. They vote to not send the electoral votes, the Electoral College from Joe Biden's slate. Instead, they pick a Trump slate. That's one. That's a little far-fetched. It's hard to believe they would do that. It really, I think, will be overturned by the Supreme Court. We've never had this very case decided, but other language from other Supreme Court decisions make it clear it's really unlikely. Here's the more plausible scenario, and here's where Donald Trump is going. And our media should start calling it out instead of ignoring it, hoping it's going away. What Donald Trump is trying to do with these claims of fraud over and over and over again is to just get Republican legislators not to actually vote to overturn the election, but to vote that we're not going to certify the votes by the deadline of December 14th. That's the day the Electoral College meets. They're going to say, we can't. There's too many questions of fraud. There's too many lawsuits. It's unresolved. We simply, in good faith, cannot vote to certify the election or allow the certification of the election. What happens then? Well, under federal law, January 6th, the time there's a joint session of Congress. And at that point, they go through electoral votes. Usually it's kind of ministerial, just administrative. And they look at the results, and whoever gets 270 electoral votes is declared the winner. But what happens if Michigan does not send any electors? What happens if Wisconsin Republicans go, I'm sorry, there's too many questions. We can't send them. What if Georgia and Arizona follow suit? What happens then, even though Joe Biden won those states, he cannot get the 270 electoral votes on January 6th. By not being able to get the 270 under the 12th Amendment of the Constitution, who picks the president? The House of Representatives. And you might be thinking, well, that's great because we control the House of Representatives. Not in this scenario, we don't. Under the Constitution's 12th Amendment, every state gets one vote. So whoever controls the actual state delegations decides who the next president is. The Republicans right now control, and they will control in the new Congress, 26 state delegations. Meaning the Republicans will pick Donald Trump as the next president. That's the end game. That's where Trump is going. It is laid out by the Constitution. It is consistent with the Electoral Count Act. This is where they're going. Is it a long shot? I'm not even sure a long shot's the right word. Is it a medium to long shot? Yeah, it's a medium to long shot. It's not easy. But they're doing everything they can. If the number of Republicans who think that this was a rigged election and that Joe Biden did not win goes from 52% to say 80%, and they start harassing for the next month because the state legislators don't have to decide for almost a month that, hey, if you vote to certify this, if you take any steps to allow the electors on the slate of Bidens to be certified, you're going to lose re-election. We're going to primary you. We're going to raise money against you. And conversely, if you do the right thing, big-time GOP donors go to them and say, you know what? We'll help you as you're ambitious. You want to run for Congress next or governor next or attorney general or lieutenant governor. We'll be there to help you. If that number of Republicans is over 52%, gets closer to 75 or 80%, you're going to see this. I'm sure right now there's pressure on these elected officials. That's the end game. The coup is not over. We're in mid-coup right now. Last night, Michigan flipping those two boards, members of the canvassing board flipping is really important. It really was an important moment where they actually made a choice of America over Donald Trump. This is not over. Remember, every allegation of fraud is not backed up by any facts. It is a cover story. What is the cover story for? It's for a coup. It's for a coup so that the House of Representatives on January 6th picks the next president, and that person will be Donald Trump. Let's stay engaged, let's stay active, and stay angry. This is their game. And the Democrats and the media have to pick it up to make it clear what the game is so all of America can see it, so people in the middle can get outraged, and people on the left get outraged and start calling elected officials, even Republican ones in their state, and going, we know what this coup is about. We understand what you're up to. Because if not, Donald Trump's going to be president for the next 4 years. And I would rather be wrong. I would rather say, hey, you're being hyperbolic. I would rather be wrong than be right. And we were silent, and Donald Trump is there for 4 years. So I hope you'll join me on my show tonight. We'll discuss this in more detail, and you'll be part of the conversation like every night on my show. It's on Sirius XM channel 127, Progress Channel. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's Dino Vidala Show preview.